it's me, your buddy, your pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when all these new videos come out. Super special guest today in the house. I got my man Josh from Nerds and Hip Hop. I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of your Instagram. When you were down for this opportunity, I knew I had to do it. Josh, welcome back, or welcome to the channel. Hopefully at some point I could say welcome back. But Josh,
I know right now. I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Good to see you guys. Good to talk to your fan base. To the Nerds and Hip Hoppers, what's good with y'all, man? You know, what's happening? Y'all gonna see us everywhere, baby. This is one of them.
And this is, it's funny because I always talk. Oh, actually, I got to get this out of the way real quick. I know you're a West Coast guy, so I had to rock my Dipset Harlem East Coast jersey here. So we got a fusion going on East Coast, West Coast.
You flexing on me. No, definitely unity, baby. Like with Nerds and Hip Hop, man, we all about unity. So, you know, I love it. Like I'm able to touch different, demographics in different regions just by the click of a button, man. So, you know, this is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, before I even get into that, because, that in itself is like, that's what's the beauty of living in this day and age, is that we could be opposite sides of the country, opposite sides of the world, and just connect on things that we love mutually. So off the jump, I want to know what got you into fusing that world together. Like, what was your intro into hip hop, or was it the nerd stuff first? And then was there a moment where you just were like, to me, it makes sense that they're together?
You know, that's a great question because honestly, it's been my whole life. Nerds and Hip Hop is me. That's pretty much my whole life. Like, from when I was young, dude, like I really was into drawing. I was into, of course, different cartoons, different all that, anime at the time and everything like that. And that's where I initially started. And then, I started like writing poetry, writing rhymes, and I became somewhat of a rapper for a while, which everybody's became a rapper at some point, I'm sure. But, I really got into it, like really deep. And then, just my lifestyle, people always said, like, man, you're like a ghetto nerd. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So it's funny, but that's my whole story. So Nerds and Hip Hop is pretty much who I am. And so toward the end of, or not the end, but the beginning of this venture and everything like that, I was kind of like, I just gave over more to my nerd side, the crafty side. Like, you know what, man, I feel like it would help somebody too, because the way I grew up, it's like all just, okay, hip hop influence, the, West Coast thug culture influence, gangster culture influence. But it's just like, some of us, black people on the West, we nerds with a you know what I mean? It's like those people should have a voice. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like Nerds and Hip Hop can kind of help them show that voice or not be afraid to show that individuality, that uniqueness that, God gave them. You feel me?
Oh, 100%. And it's funny because, I'm in my mid 30s, and my little cousin at the time, I remember I talked to him about this probably like 5 years ago. He was exiting high school, and, he was part of like the gamers club in his school. And they were talking to, like, his father is like, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but like the gamers club is like, those are the cool kids now. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, like your cousin being one of the best gamers in his school is like why kids want to hang out with him. Like that he's popular because of that. And to me, I was like, that's so opposite of when I was in school. Like when I was in high school, like, the gamers club kids were like those black nerds. Like we may have not been the ones playing Madden, but we were the ones like throwing down Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like that's what you did. But then everybody still came together around hip hop because we had that one thing in common. And that's what, just kind of like fused it all together.
Definitely. That's the thing that always kind of makes hip hop. Like, like me going to, when I was young, I wasn't able to go to a lot of events that, my parents, Pops, you always worked hard, but hey, it was, we didn't have that fundage to go to Comic-Con and go get a bunch of stuff. And Dad, if we went to Comic-Con, my dad be like, man, don't touch nothing. Touch none of that stuff. Like, that's kind of like, the background I had. So when I got older and I went to them, it was like, yo, this is really dope. I like this. You know what I mean? I like this. I like this. I like that. Only thing I was like, yo, if they had some music in here, like, you know what I'm saying, they played a little something, like, you know what I mean, something popping, like, it's a whole vibe, and music always makes a vibe. Like, you know what I mean? It makes it more of what it needs to be to make people feel like, catch that feeling, like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's missing for the demographic of, you want to say, Blerds or hip-hop nerds. You know what I'm saying, is what would make us draw more to Comic-Con type things and everything like that, is a hip-hop feel.
Yeah.
Because it's right there. You know what I mean?
So the question that, I mean, right now, like, you have, to me, one of the best pages that encompasses all of that. And you're consistent, but you're also, your fan base is growing by the day, by the hour. So I guess talk me through, like, what led to that? Like, what led to you just sitting down one day and being like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this page that's dedicated just to that, like, I'm going to just put into it. I'm going to put my time into that. Like, what was that, like, thought process like?
Well, initially, because I created a comic, General Joshua comics and everything like that, on Instagram, moving toward being more of a thing, of course. And I was just like looking for a demographic, like somebody that would enjoy this. And then, I started running into cosplayers and everything like that, and just talking to more people, getting more involved in the whole nerd culture aspect. And then I was just like, I always had plenty of content. I always had things that I would look up myself and be like, yo, that's so dope. Like, you know what I mean? Or a video or post and be like, yo, that's tight. Like, you know what I mean? But, like some of my friends are like a little more, so they was just like, yo, gosh, that's cool, but whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But then it's just like, once I found this demographic, it's a gang of people that's like, yo, that's dope too. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I found a unity in that. And then it made me think like, yo, there's actually a whole group of people like this, man. I was like, what a way to start some unity going. Like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like the world needs a whole heap of positivity at this point, at points before 5 years ago, 10 years ago, up to now. We need more positivity, man. And I feel like this is a positive thing. And even some of my friends that weren't into it are like now more like, oh, I see what you mean now. Like, I see the videos, I see what you're talking, like, that is hot. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just bridging the gap, man. That's really bridging the gap right now. Because
even like, I was like on IG and like you came up off the jump, and like, you put that post with Cardi B where like somebody like mixed it, her talking about coronavirus. And then, but like the post, I think either before or after that was the King Vader one, right? And I'm like, those are like two perfect examples. Like, hip hop is in everything. Like,
it is.
You can take hip hop and fuse it into so many different things, even just on like remixing somebody talking. That beat, the cadence, all of that, it's all hip hop. That's what kind of does it. So another question I love to ask, like, what was was there an artist or a group or, was there a song that when you heard it, you were like, that's what I'm going for in, maybe hip hop? And then I guess to tie into that, was there an artist or a band that you heard that you were like, oh, they also embrace hip hop? And then I guess just to give you like an example, for a lot of people, like a lot of like old school heads, it was Wu-Tang. Like, they were listening to Wu-Tang and they're talking about, the 7 layers or whatever. That's escaping me at the moment. But like, that was their intro into like martial arts. Because they were like, oh, they're talking about this thing. I don't know what that is. I'll look it up. Oh, wow. Like, that's actually pretty dope. Like, was there an artist or band or group that you were like, one, they got me into hip hop, but two, that's cool that they're also fusing that together?
No, yeah, man, you pretty much just stole my answer right there. It was definitely Wu-Tang, like, you know what I mean? I just feel like RZA, like, he's done so much in the nerd and hip hop
Yeah.
culture, like if you want to call it like definitely a culture now, like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like RZA is ridiculously dope for that, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like you have so many things in that aspect now that are kind of like, it's like I said, it's on the cusp anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Me doing this, it's already happening low key.
Right.
Like, you have like the Travis Scotts, like, you know what I
Right.
mean? That's, you know, very innovative. Like, you know what I mean? You have the Kid Cudis that, you know what I mean, that they've always been, you could even go as far as calling them a blurred rapper. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, there's like, you know, it's
The
been
weirdo,
said.
the weirdo rappers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like, you
yeah.
know what I mean, early Kanye with the, you know, with the teddy bear thing, like, you know what I mean, in the comic book cover, I forget which one it was. Was it the Dropout? College Dropout?
All the dropout.
I'm not sure, but you know, the character, the bear, and then the comic cover, like, you know what I mean, like it's been on the cusp, like, I mean, because even if you get into the 5 elements of hip hop, one of them being graffiti art, like, you know what I'm saying, graffiti art and just regular comic art, you know what I'm saying, they cross each other's path all the time. So it's just such a beautiful thing, man, to just kind of bring awareness to something that's been there for forever. Like,
Yeah.
right there.
No, I mean that's it. It's those rappers that they had it like it was subtle, you know, like there'd be like drops. It's funny actually. A friend of mine turned me on to you, and I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. It's like Tobe Nwagiri. Is that, I don't know how to say it. I'll send you.
Ooh, about to get in trouble, bro.
I just found it yesterday. I just found it yesterday, and I'm like, I don't even know how to pronounce that. And the video I saw was him and Paul Wall together, and I was like, oh, if Paul Wall's on the video, that must be like someone pretty dope. And like, I'm watching the cadences, I'm watching the videos, and then like, you know, he's rocking an Austin 316 shirt, and it's like, I'm like, oh, like he's a nerd too. He's not saying it, but you see it and you hear it. And then in one of the songs, he's like, oh, I was just joking like Krillin while my friend's hair goes blonde or something like that. And I was like, people probably don't even catch that. Like, it's just,
bro, you'll catch that in so many people. Like, you know, I'm a big J. Cole fan. You know what I'm saying? You'll catch some stuff in J. Cole, but J. Cole ain't gonna be like, yo, I'm a Blerd rapper. He might not do that yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm hoping for it. J. Cole, come on. Like, help us, man. Like, no, I was playing. But no, man, like, I love it because it's right there. Like, you catch that so many times, man. You got you know, right now you have like a Jaden Smith do I'm feeling like Goku, like the Goku song and everything like that. You get, you know, a lot of the younger generations coming into it are doing songs based on some of the stuff that they love, which is anime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Drake says something like, oh, he loves anime. Megan Thee Stallion with that, you know what I mean, cover, man. Like, you know what I mean, where she did, I forgot that character's name from My Hero Academia, but the fire dude, Taro. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, she did that. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's everywhere, bro. It's really literally everywhere through hip hop, man. And I feel like it's going to become its own genre, man. The nerdcore rap is going to become a thing, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because too many people like it. It's happening.
So what do you like, one of the ones I also like to ask is, what are you watching now that you're like, I'm all in, you know, whether it's an anime or TV show, with both? Is there something right now that you're watching that you're like, either everybody should be watching, or you're just like all in, you're glad that it's blowing up?
So in the hip hop realm, or in like anime, or which
I was thinking media, but media could be anything. That could be hip hop, and it could be, you know, anime or whatnot.
Okay. Well, so with anime, man, I just finished watching season 3 of Castlevania. That's so lit. Like, I don't know if you watched that.
I need to get on that.
Bro, you haven't? Oh my God. Like, that, I'm sorry, man. Belmont, bro, that's my G. Like, it's too dope. Like, it's really a dope cartoon, bro. Like, it's just like an anime for like anybody that is, I like those violent animes, and like them just rough, just gritty, like dope fight scenes. So that's my thing. Like, you know what I mean? So, but like hip hop wise, you know what I mean? Like Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix is dope too. Like, I get a lot of Netflix in because like I'll just be on the go. I got my phone, like, you know what I mean? If I'm at lunch at my other job, like I'll just turn it on, like boom, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? And there we go. So those are the two main things that, like, you know, I'll pay attention to or something like that. Mostly things that are into my craft. Or I'll even watch gameplay. Like I'll pull up a YouTube gameplay. If it's a game I'm interested in buying, pull up a YouTube gameplay video and just see what it do. Because, you know, before you buy it, you gotta know.
That's true. It's funny, like so on my channel I do a lot of 2-minute reviews, and I try to like review like episodes on a show, and it's funny because there's almost so many shows now that it's hard for me to sit down and watch them and not try to like judge it as I'm watching it. But Castlevania has come up as one where people are like, you need to review the show. So it's on my list. I got a freaking whole list going on now, this thing, but I'm definitely gonna check that out for sure. For me, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I'd advise it, definitely. That's a good one. Honestly.
Yeah, I tried watching My Hero, and much like Naruto, like if you stop for a couple months, it gets so advanced, and there's like so many hours you got to put into then watching it. So like My Hero is one where at some point I want to like go back and try before it's like 1,000 episodes in.
No, I get you. Like sometimes seeing that a show has like freaking 15 million seasons is a little overwhelming. Like you're kind of like, yo, I got a lot to bite off. I got a lot to learn. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's also dope because once you get involved, because you know you hit that point when you binge watching or just watching it, like, you know what I mean, over and over, whatever, episode after episode, you get to that point where you like, now you're vested. And so you're happy that there's so many episodes. But before that, you kind of like, damn, bruh, you just feel behind. Like you feel like back in school when your teacher like piled the homework up because you were sick. Like, you know what I'm saying? You like, here's all the homework. You like, God, man, that's a lot. Like, you know what I mean? It's overwhelming a little bit, but otherwise than that, like it's like I said, once you get vested, it's like, yo, okay, I'm glad I got like 1,900 episodes to watch, like, you know.
But that's why, you know, one of my favorite anime all time is, and for those of you watching now, you should go check out. There's a HeyArcher episode with my man Gerby, and we talk about top anime all time. My favorite, it's number 2. I have it as my number 2. It's Full Metal Alchemist, and Full Metal, especially with Brotherhood, like they try to hook you at the first episode. Like they don't try to do like, all right, let's build up and do whatever. They're like, all right, this first episode, especially in Brotherhood, they're like, this is what's happening. Like you're either in it or you're not. And I find it's still like that. Like if they can do that in the first couple, like first 2-3 episodes, that's really what will kind of grab you. And with some of them, it just takes too long to get to it, and they fall off.
No, that's very true. I definitely can agree. Like, you know what I mean? Some take a little too long to get to it. Like they talk about like the fillers and everything like that, the little extras. Like, you know, like Naruto. Like the first time I watched Naruto, I was like, this is lit. Like I like it. And you kind of feel for the character, and then they just kind of go off on a little tangent. I call it the GTA effect sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if you remember, like, you know, so like GTA 3 is hot, you know what I mean? Then you got like, you know, Vice City and went to San Andreas. And I remember what I didn't like about San Andreas, which made me create this saying, the GTA effect, is because it would have like these filler missions that piss me off, like fly this little remote plane across like no one cares. Like what? Like why would I fly this remote plane? Like let's go do another drive-by. Let's go do GTA things. Like, you know what I mean? So like when I seen Naruto, and certain times they have these fillers, it'd be like just some random shit. Like, oh, Naruto's wearing a different shirt today. Let's make an episode about that. Like, nah, let's not. Let's get back to the action. That's what I want to see. Like, you know, so that's the thing, man. Some of them have too many of those, and it kind of, you lose interest a little bit. Like, you know how we are with attention spans today. Like we lose interest like that. Like it's quick.
And that's why it's the so my number 1 anime, and I'll ask you if you have like a top 3 or 5 that you got. Which I always say, to me, if you're listing like top anime, I allow movies in there because sometimes movies have such a big influence on just the culture as a whole. But for me, Dragon Ball Z, like, I feel like for most people it's a top, but it's actually, to me, the movies that got me into it. Because I remember as a kid, some of you listening might be too young for this, but before the internet, all you had was the Dragon Ball Z episodes that were on basic TV, and it started with Raditz showing up, and it ended when I think it ended when they got to Planet Saiyan. When they got to Planet Namek, and Goku. I think that's where it stopped. And at that point, that's all we knew. And I was like, all right. And I just watched it just because, and I thought it was cool. But my friends got their hands on some of the movies on VHS. And
nice.
Super Saiyan, I'm like, what is this? Like, I've never seen this on the show. And it was actually the movies that got me into it. They got me like hardcore into like, I gotta watch everything. So I was wondering for you, do you have like a top, 3 or 5 anime, maybe not in order, but that like, you're like, these are the ones that like cemented me into this?
Well, basically, I know that's a good question. Like, for me, we'll run 3 that are like kind of influential in this. Like, and I mean, like, my first being, I gotta talk about, saying, like I said, Dragon Ball Z, bro. That was my entry into the world that is anime. Like, and I loved it. Like, I mean, I was like a kid, and I couldn't believe like there's a cartoon like this. It was inherently violent. It was dope. Like, it was just like, you're rooting for, the underdog. I remember the first episode I actually seen was Vegeta fighting Goku. Like, the first fight that they had, where, like, it was just which is now kind of like a thing that, you always see the anime, the bad guy or whatever going, oh my God, I can't believe like he's that powerful. Like, you know what I mean? So you gotta have that look. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like crazy because, when I first seen it, I was like, oh man, like, yeah, this dude, he's strong enough to fight this dude, but he's not winning. He was kind of like a fucking anime Rocky. It was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. So for me, I was just like, all right, I like this. Like, you know what I mean? So that was the first that really got me. Also, I used to watch the whole Gundam Wing thing a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? I was a little bit into that, like, you know what I mean? But not enough. Like, it didn't hold me. But like, once I moved forward to something like my third being, which is now, I have to go ahead. Like, I'm gonna skip a lot of them and just say Castlevania is my thing, bro. Like, it's just really good. It's for me, like I said, I like the violent stuff, like, you know what I mean, and everything, the crazy ones, I'm a little pressed because I'm putting it before Afro Samurai, which is one of my hearts. Like, you know what I mean? That one is really, really big to me. But like I said, we'll run with those 3. We'll do the Dragon Ball, the Gundam, and Castlevania. We'll run with that.
I mean, you hit 2 really good ones there, because Gundam Wing, that was one where it was hard for, I think, a lot of us in our younger days to get into the lore of it, because Gundam is like in itself all over the place with all the different series. But there was something to watching that, like, on Toonami. Like, I don't know if that's where you were watching it, but like there was something to like just seeing it on TV, and you couldn't explain it. But like you said, it was so violent, and the machines were larger than life, or the Gundams were larger than life. Like, very underrated as far as influence on just, I forget that word, but like the mecha culture of like giant robots fighting giant robots. But that other one, man, that low-key Afro Samurai, I mean, there's a UFC fighter, Angela Hill. She came out one time, and she usually dresses up like some sort of nerd character. And she did Afro Samurai one time, and people had no idea who she was. They were like, why does she have a cigarette in her mouth? And like, she comes out on stage, I'm like, that's like, I mean, even Boondocks like copies some of that, like it's Afro Samurai is like major influence on hip hop and animate together.
Exactly. And the thing is, I make references to it all the time only because of how hip hop was woven in there. Like, especially the video game. The video game is really what it captivated me like crazy. Like, I was like, yo, the soundtrack to this video game, that was the dopest hip hop soundtrack to a video game I've heard.
Yeah.
Like, myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? To my ear, I was like, wow, like, this is awesome. Like, I was like, they really went all out. Like, you know what I mean? And then the gameplay was just insane crazy. So it just, and coming from a background of a kid that used to I was a kid with the headphones on, listening to my music, like, you know what I'm saying, while playing video games. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that, or no headphones on, loud as heck in my room because my parents weren't home, whatever the case may be. Like, you know what I mean? So to actually have a soundtrack on a game that was dope was just third world to me. I was like, oh my God, yeah. I played that game like 78 times, man. I don't even know. Like, I beat that game more than it should be legally allowed, bro. Like,
all right, dude, Josh, this was awesome. Like I said, huge fan, and talking to other Blerds out there. I mean, that's awesome. So for everybody who's watching, plug your shit. Tell us where to find you, where you're at, any cool projects you got coming up. Talk to the people.
All right. Heck yeah. All right. About to dive in, people. Let's get it. Time to plug myself shamelessly.
Yeah. All
right. So that's Nerds and Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the best on Instagram right now. So, you know what I mean? You can check us out at Nerds and Hip Hop. That's just Nerds and Hip Hop. So it's actually no underscore, no nothing. Straight Nerds and Hip Hop. Nerds with a Z. You know what I mean? And you can check us out on Instagram. Also, NerdzAndHipHop.com. We're trying to do a way more positive world star hip hop feel. So, you know, help us build that, help us get that bigger. Go check that out. If you show love, you might just be on that bad boy. So remember, NerdzAndHipHop.com. Also bringing out my first comic, which is General Joshua. You can find that also on Instagram at _General Joshua _ at Instagram, man. Check that out. Show some love to it, man, because I'm going to be showing that a lot on Nerds and Hip Hop real soon once the Kickstarter starts, because I feel like you guys will love it. So there we go. That's what I'm plugging, baby.
I love it. Not only do I respect like I said, you bring in those cultures together, those worlds together, but I respect that hustle of like, I'm not doing one thing. I got this, I got this, I got this. And it all makes for one awesome brand. So at the end of the day, I feel like when you start putting all the pieces together, you just make something larger, you make a bigger brand. So I'm on it, dude. Anytime you want to come on this show, you got it. I'm putting all the links in the bio for all of you. And of course, once that Kickstarter launches, I will have that on here as well. Josh, it was a pleasure. Like I said, I can't wait to have you on again. All of you nerds out there, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on all your podcast platforms, leave a good review, and then head over to NerdzAndHipHop.com. Links to everything will be there as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you nerds later. Peace.